Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girbharadari Jana Vallabha Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jaisacinandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jamuna Tira Vanacharim Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitya Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Gaura Haribo, Nitya Gaura. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. Jai Go Premanandi. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramasuprai Stotra Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Bhaktivedanta Purports Ki, Srila Vedavyasa Ki, Nitai Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories goes to Guru and Gauranga. Goes lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaivam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nasta praisya bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistike. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today's chapter is ongoing. Canto 4, chapter 7, reading two verses, 23 and 24. 24 is on your sheet, I think, yeah, but we'll just read 24. The sacrifice performed by Daksha. I'll read 23, then the translation also. Tata chejasa atarucha sana jiva sasadava. I'm giving class one. Sorry about that. Tada tejasa atarucha sana jiva sasadvasaha mudna drita janali puta upatastur adoksajam. Translation of that. In the presence of the glaring effulgence of the bodily lust of Narayan, everyone else's luster faded away, and everyone stopped speaking, fearful with awe and veneration. All present touched their hands to their heads and prepared to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adoksaja. This also reminds me of the 8th canto when Vamana they went to the palace of Bali Maharaj, and in the assembly area, he had such effulgence, this Brahman boy, dwarf Brahman boy. Everybody was captivated, so much captivated by his beauty, his effulgence, that immediately they fell to the ground and offered their obeisance, offered him kind words, greetings. So it's, it's very similar. In the presence of the glaring effulgence of the bodily lust of Narayan, everyone else's luster faded away, and everyone stopped speaking, fearful with awe and veneration. All present touched their hands to their heads and prepared to offer their prayers to the Supreme Personal Godhead, Adoksaja. Text 24, today's verse. Api arvak vritaya yasya mahi chu atmabu adaya yatamati Grinanti sma Krita Hanugraha Vigraham Apyar Vagvritayo Yasya Apyar Vagvritayo Yasya Mahitvatma bhuvadaya tuatma Mahitvav atma bhuvadaya Yatamati grinanti sma Yatamati grinanti sma Krita anugraha vigraham Kritanugraha vigraham Apyar vagvritayo yasya Mahitvatma bhuvadaya Yatamati grinanti sma Kritanugraha vigraham Apyar vagvritayo yasya Mahitvatma bhuvadaya yatamati grinanti sma kitahan anugraha vigraham apyarvagvitayo yasya mayitvatma bubhadaya yatamati grinanti sma kritahanugraha vigraham apyarvagvitayo yasya mayitvatma bubhadaya yatamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham apyarvagvitayo yasya mayitvatma bubhadaya yatamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham
apyarvagvitayo
yasya
mahitu atma bhuvadaya
mayitvatma bubhadaya
yatamati grinanti sma
kritanugraha vigraham apyarvagvitayo yasya atmatu atma yatamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham. Others? Apyarvagvitayo yasya mayitu atma bubhadaya yatamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham apyarvagvitayo yasya mayitu atma bubhadaya yatamati grinanti sma kritanugraha vigraham api still arvagvitaya beyond the mental activities yasya whose mahi glory to but atma bhuhadaya brahma etc yata mati according to the different capacities grinanti sma offered prayers kritanugraha manifested by his grace vigraham transcendental form translation and purport by his divine grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Although the mental scope of even demigods like Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord, they were able to perceive the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. Only by such grace could they offer the respectful prayers according to the different capacities. Everyone repeat. Although the mental scope of even demigods like Lord Brahma was unable to comprehend the unlimited glories of the Supreme Lord, they were able to perceive the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. Only by such grace could they offer the respectful prayers according to the different capacities. Purport. The Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, is always unlimited, and His glories cannot be completely enumerated by anyone, even by a personality like Lord Brahma. It is said that Ananta, a direct incarnation of the Lord, has unlimited mouths, and with each mouth he has been trying to describe the glories of the Lord for an unlimited span of time. Yet the glories of the Lord remain unlimited, and he therefore never finishes. It is not possible for any ordinary living entity to understand or to glorify the unlimited personality of Godhead, but one can offer prayers or service to the Lord according to one's particular capacity. This capacity is increased by the service spirit. Sevon Mukhai Jivadu means the service of the Lord begins with the tongue. This refers to chanting. By chanting Hare Krishna, one begins the service of the Lord. Another function of the tongue is to taste and accept the Lord's prasad. We have to begin our service to the unlimited with the tongue and become perfect in chanting and accepting the Lord's prasad. To accept the Lord's prasad means to control the entire set of senses. The tongue is considered to be the most uncontrollable sense because it hankers for so many unwholesome eatables, thereby forcing the living entity into the dungeon of material conditioned life. As a living entity transmigrates from one form of life to another, he has to eat so many abominable foodstuffs that finally there is no limit. The tongue should be engaged in chanting and in eating the Lord's prasad so that the other senses will be controlled. Chanting is the medicine and prasad is the diet. With these processes, one can begin his service. And as the service increases, the Lord reveals more and more to the devotee. But there is no limit to his glories, and there is no limit to engaging oneself in the service of the Lord. Om Jnana Timirindasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutaling Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishak Anvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sri Sri Radharanath Ki Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Go Premanandi. So this is a very, very wonderful verse. The sacrifice performed by Daksha. Of course, here the Supreme Lord is present and is radiating his effulgence. But sometimes due to our blunt senses, we cannot appreciate that, or we cannot see the Lord, isn't it? Because he's covered. In the Upanishad, it says, Hiranyamena by his effulgence, it's so bright, it blinds us. We cannot see. There's a nice verse in the Upanishad describing that Hiranyamena, that effulgence that blinds, like the Mayavadi impersonalists and the atheists, they cannot appreciate this form of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's in the purport to the 11th chapter, the Virat Rup, the universal form, he comments on that in text 4. He says, the universal form, and he says, Arjun could understand that for a living entity it is not possible to understand the unlimited infinite. If the infinite reveals himself, then it's possible to understand the nature of the infinite by the grace of the infinite. And even Arjun himself, when he wanted to see this form, he's actually he's praying to Krishna, please, if you feel like showing me this form, otherwise I don't have any need to see it. So in a very humble way, in a gesture of humility, he's praying, if you so desire, show me this form. Not that he's demanding. No, this is the mood of the devotee. He's in full humility. He's asking the Lord himself to show him this form. Of course, the Lord will reveal himself according to our surrender also, like in a nice verse he mentioned, Yayatamam prapadyante, tamstateva bhajamyaham, mama vatmanu vatante, manusyam partha sarvasaha. As one surrenders, I reward them accordingly. You can tell Swarup I'm giving class, he's not. As one surrenders, I reward him. And Prabhupada says in the purport, everyone is looking for Krishna. Everyone in the creation is looking for even the atheists. In some way, they are, although they deny the existence of God, but for God to exist, they must exist, isn't it? So, like that, and Krishna reciprocates accordingly, And we understand in the Nectar of Devotion, he mentions the 5 primary ras and the 7 secondary ras. The 12 rasas are there. How one can associate with the Lord. The 5 primary ras as in Shanta, in the mood of neutrality, in Dasya ras, in the mood of servitorship, Sakya ras, in the mood of friendship. One can become a friend of the Lord, and one can become Vatsalya, a parent, if he so desires, he wants to be a parent of the Lord. And then there's Madhurya ras, the highest of all these is the one can develop, become a lover of the Lord. So these are the 5 primary. Then the 7 secondary rases are there also, which is explained very deeply in the Nectar of Devotion. There's different types of one in wonder. One can, like in 11th chapter, when Arjun initially was, his mood was a friendship. They were friends, Sakhis, contemporaries. But after Krishna revealed this form, Arjun's mood, his bhav started to change. To that of fear and awe and reverence and wonder. So this change according to how we want to perceive the Lord. So Arjun was asking these questions to reveal this form so that he could set a criteria for those skeptics who did not believe that the Lord, what he spoke about in the 10th chapter. Because anybody can stand up and say things, I am the taste of water, I am this, I am that. But Arjun wanted to set a criteria that the Lord didn't just speak but he actually performed, and he showed through this universal form, even for the skeptics, so that they could come to some understanding the Lord, and appreciate that in that kind of mood. Some people attracted to the Virat Rup, some people attract, and they see the big ocean as the rhythm of the Lord. In the Bhagavatam, it's described the rivers are like his veins, right? The trees are like his hair. The branches, the wind is, the hair is his breath, like that. So some people they cannot perceive that the Lord has form. It's hard for them to perceive that. Therefore, for understanding that the Lord it can be understood in these three features, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, for these different types of transcendentalists. And for them that is absolute. But for the devotee, he sees the presence of the Lord, his form, his activities, janma karma, his birth, his activities. They appreciate that as Bhagavan. He has form, he has features, and he has unlimited forms, as the Brahma Samhita, Ananta Rupam, Advaitam, Achyutam, Ananta Rupam, unlimited forms are there. So the Prabhupada speaks the tongue, and in the Nectar of Instruction also, Rupa Goswami addresses this in the very first verse, the Jiva Vedam, Udara Pasta Vedam, Aitan Vedam, Yovite, Tadira. He says, a sober person, meaning any person who is sober, can control these six urges of the tongue, belly, genitals, the mind, words of speech. He can be called a Goswami, one who controls his senses. So we see here in the tongue is like the reservoir or the for the mind. The senses are controlled by the mind. It's a repository. The mind is like a repository for the senses. And what are your senses? Sense of smell, sight, hearing, feeling, like that. But yeah, probably that the tongue can be used for two things: for vibrating the holy name and tasting Krishna Prasad. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely in his has described that when we say these prayers every morning. It's so important. Before you relish prasadam, these prayers are there. We have to say these prayers. I know one incident many years ago. We were taking prasad, and His Holiness Indra Swami had to, and he was very kind of vocal about that. He says, "You don't chant Sarira Vidyaja prayers? You don't?" And he was very visibly upset in why we are not chanting this. And it's so important that before we put anything to the mouth, any prasad, not anything, any that's offered to the Lord, first thing that's how to control the senses, that we don't just eat anything, right? Generally, the senses want to taste everything. So in Krishna consciousness, we become disciplined. That's one feature of Krishna. There's discipline. We become disciplined, like a soldier in the army. He's very disciplined. He follows his superiors, the orders of his superiors. And Prabhupada said, has the army marches on his stomach. So the devotees also, prasadam is most important feature of the. Because prasadam is not just food that fills your belly, it's also sanctified to nourish the brain, nourish this, the finer tissues of the brain. And so it becomes very sharp, and body features become effulgent. You see, when we practice nicely Krishna consciousness, we have this aura about us, everyone, especially about devotees. And this is what attracts people. Right, Raghunath? The aura about a devotee is different from ordinary karmis or mundane. And therefore, when a devotee, it stands out. It stands out. He or she stands out in very nicely attired with tilak and rest. Simple rest, simple, not elaborate jewelry, and very simple, but same time very attractive. And this is what, and we see that, one thing I admired about Jumna Swami, like he was very organized, in his Harinam. Even he was trying to teach us that, coordination, everything, cohesiveness, and dress. Put like you see what he's doing. Presently, we see the Harinam parties in Europe, and they all dressed with garlands, isn't? And they look so wonderful. And this is what attracts. Even the karmis become attracted like that. So we have to use some strategy how to attract, the general mass of people. Another feature of the tongue, like Rupa Goswami in the second verse, Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpa. Atyahara means, anybody knows what's Atyahara beside Raghunath? And Atyahara? Ravindra Prabhu? Atyahara. Never heard it. No? Over endeavoring and overeating. Say? Yeah. These disturb they are Sadbir Bhakti Vinashati. They destroy our devotional. Over endeavoring, overeating. Prajalpa. What's Prajalpa? What is Prajalpa? Mundane talk, yes. Gossiping. Prajalpa. Prajalpa. Niyamagraha. So the tongue, it wants to eat a lot, it wants to taste all your nice things, and it wants to talk all nonsense. Prajalpa can be perceived in many ways. Even seeing the commercial newspapers or television, so many ways that's Prajalpa. What to speak of going to your internet and looking at all. Internet is full of crazy things, isn't it? And sometimes you get tempted to surf. This temptation is there. But we have to bring the tongue under control. The verse that's predicting the of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the appearance, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, famous verse, I'm sure you all. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam, Sangopangastapas, Yagnai Sankitan Praya, Yajanti Sumedasaha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, those who worship demigods, in the 7th chapter, Alpha Medasa, they are bereft of intelligence, very less intelligent people, he says. And in this verse from the Bhagavatam, it's also in Chaitanya Charitam. Su Medasa means it's amplified, like very intelligent, not just intelligent. It says what? It says in this age of Kali, very intelligent persons will do what? They will worship that incarnation who is constantly chanting the names of Krishna. Krishna Varnayati is constantly chanting the name. And who is that? He says, he's Trisha Krishna. Or Krishna. Means he's not blackish. Krishna means blackish. Or Krishnam. He's not blackish. He is Gora. Gora means golden in complexion. Molten gold. He's described like that. Very beautiful features of the Lord. He's accompanied by his confidential companions. And his beauty, his weapon is his beauty. Astra means his weapon. The other incarnations came with weapons. Even Narayan had, we speak about Narayan in this verse, 400. He's carrying the conch, disc, gada and padma. Right, these four. Gada and the gada is the what do you call that? Club. And the chakra is that he punishes the demons. And the conch and the padma, the lotus flower, he gives blessings to the devotees. So, and Lord Ramachandra carried weapons. Nishingadev carried weapons. He would just by his nails, he bifurcated. So all these other that is their weapons. But this incarnation, just by his beauty, his molten gold beauty, people are attracted to this form. And what did he come to do? His main business was to propagate the chanting of the holy name. Arinam, 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 Kevalam, Kalo, Nasteva, Nasteva, Steva, Gatir, Anyatha. That was his. Of course, he came for two purposes, the external and the internal. But today we'll talk about the external, what was the importance of that. Because in this Kali Yuga, people are very, very unfortunate. They're lazy, misguided. Isn't this Bhagavatam speaks about that? Especially in the Kali Yuga, people are very, very degraded. So what's the one good recourse? Is that they could take to the chanting of the holy names. So Vaipumsam Paro Dharmo. We had this verse, but it's such an important verse also for the people of Kali Yuga. So Vaipumsam Paro Dharmo. Yato Bhaktir Adoksaje. Adoksaje is also mentioned here. Adoksaje. So why the people can take to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. And it must be apratiyata vyayatma suprasidati. It must be unmotivated, uninterrupted, and it must completely satisfy the self. It must bring complete satisfaction. Therefore, the holy names are such powerful tools. Prabhupada said here, the cure, the panacea. Nice word, panacea. Prabhupada used the panacea, the cure for this age. It's like we are in a jaundiced condition. When you can't chant Hare Krishna, that means you are in a jaundiced. When you don't have taste for the holy name, that means we like a person has jaundice, he cannot taste anything sweet. It tastes bitter. But a very cure for that is, what is called? What's that sweet? It's sugar candy. Sugar candy. So this holy name is like that. It's like sugar candy. It cures. By constantly taking the sugar candy, eventually you begin to taste the sweetness of the sugar candy. And your jaundice will dissipate. So that's what we are in, that jaundice condition. That we cannot appreciate the holy name. We don't have taste for the holy name. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, unfortunate as I am, I don't have taste for chanting. Although he's saying like that. But the holy names are so attractive, so potent. He's invested all his energy, all his potencies in the holy name. And for this age, that is the Yuga Dharma. There's no other way. The Jagyas and Disam systems were in different ages, but now it is Kale Kare Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Kale Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Krishna has come in the form of his holy name. Avatar, he has descended. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya's name is Bhakta Avatar. He comes in the form of a devotee to Kale Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Krishna has manifested himself in the form, Nama Rupa, the name and form. They are not different. Because God is absolute. If we say God is absolute, then logically we can conclude that everything connected is also on the absolute platform. Right? So the name must be absolute. The Lord's paraphernalia, we see the Lord is very kindly appeared in the form of his murti, of his form that we can appreciate, and sometimes it comes in the shape of marble, sometimes in wood, sometimes in paint. And this is all part of his energies. Inferior energy, Bhumi, Apo, Nala, Vayu, Kam. And these all made of the material energy. But they become Krishnahized or purified by using it in the service of the Lord. So everything that's used in the service of the Lord is on the absolute platform. This beautiful temple, this marble, all this. And if it was just some building, it would have no significance, isn't it? You may go and look at it and, it becomes a tourist. But because it's permeated with the holy name, every day devotees are congregating and chanting. There's prayers to the Supreme Lord, offering wonderful prayers, praying to the spiritual master. All these, they are permeated with such powerful energy that whoever comes will feel that. Even some visitor comes, stranger comes, you feel something different. I told a story once, maybe. There was one very, very wealthy Africana woman. She came here with a family. It was during the Arti was on, and then she walked around. You could see she was with all her jewels, and she was very, very wealthy. And she started to cry. So I went to her and approached her, and she said, I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know. There's something about this place, it touched my heart. So that's what it should give us, that kind of impression, that kind of feeling when we come to such places. And Srila Prabhupada had the foresight to build temples so that people can come, the conditioned souls can come and congregate and become purified from their material existence and become devotees of the Lord. And some skeptics would say, so God is everywhere. Why can't we go in the bush? Prabhupada said, yes. If he's in the bush, would you go? Would you go to the bush? No, everybody's attracted to some. So the best, the most beautiful place must be for the Lord, for the glorification of the Lord. So much energy went into building this beautiful edifice. So many years of hard work, labor of love. And we engage in service here also. It's a labor of love. Sometimes, yeah, we get purified. It's very purifying. Sometimes we go through some tribulation, some torment is there, but it's all for the pleasure of the Lord, and it's for a higher, we get a higher taste from that. Taking prasadam gives you a higher taste. Chanting Hare Krishna gives you a higher taste. Oh. Even if you're having trouble chanting, chant anyway. Even if you have no taste, chant anyway. I was reading that post the other day, and somebody put up that post. Even if you have no feeling for it, chant anyway. Chant in that way, because that's how potent and faith in the holy name is there. We have to, and like Srila Prabhupada had nothing. We're talking about how we last week in the Vyasa Puja rendering of wonderful words to Srila Prabhupada to glorify. He went with nothing but the holy name. He came with nothing material except a little bag with some books, some grains, and a few dollars or rupees. Nothing, but he was so immersed, so confident, so much surcharged that the holy name is the only thing. But that's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was simply carrying the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's what Lord... Yare Dekha Thakare Krishna Upadesh. You go, whoever you meet, you tell them about Krishna. Instruct them. Krishna Upadesh. Whoever you meet, you become guru, you become teacher. That means everyone, it applies to everybody. Everyone can be a Shiksha Guru, a Vatma Pradakshaka Guru, and we can touch people's hearts also just by the potency that's invested in us and our faith in the process. Faith must be there. Shraddha, isn't? Otherwise, what's the point? We'll try different things. We'll be on that same Kanishta platform. And we see many coming from, my due respects to them, they come for many years, for years. But they're still on that same, just come for the Sunday program, take some prasad. But there's no movement in them, about making advancement or taking this process. Because they think it's some sentimental thing. It's not. This Krishna is not a sentimental thing. It's not a static. It's very dynamic. Prabhupada called this the Krishna movement. It's a movement. We have to move, become dynamic. Each one of us can make a difference just by this, by employing our tongue in this way. Of course, people are attracted to prasadam, so we have to be expert cooks also, how to attract people. And Prabhupada taught by. Prabhupada would cook the whole Sunday feast. In the early days, it was just himself cooking. He had a 4 or 5 tier, steaming pots, and he would cook everything in there. And that was a Sunday feast. And make chapatis. Taught some of the devotees to make chapatis. And that's how the first Sundays, and they all became attracted just by prasadam. Even myself. I used to come for the Sunday program. And I found him, like when I was first coming in. And I said, this lecture, when is it going to stop? This guy is just going on and on and on. When is it going to stop? As soon as he stops, then I'm the first one in the queue. At that time, every Sunday was biryani. I remember we used to serve where the ladies' quarters. We used to serve down there. I remember Raghava Pandit was the head of that serving. And I was first in the queue. What prasadam, that's how we become attracted. Yeah, we can laugh about these things. But it's true. It works. Prasadam, and it's amazing how this prasadam works. Prabhupada said no one should go hungry. No one. It's some prasadam. So Arjun Prabhu is doing a very nice service there. He's employing people to make nice things, and people they look forward to that. Amazing. It's something, some significance. That prasadam is a weapon. We see how it become attracted like that. So thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Jai, you're right. What you were saying was so nice. I was just thinking about the prasadam is so effective. Vic Pandey from River Range was telling me how that they were serving prasadam to the school was doing very. The pupils were doing very bad. The performance was very low. But they started serving prasadam to that school. It just picked up. The performance picked up. They couldn't understand. They couldn't believe it. The effect that it has, as you were saying, the brain, and it's just amazing. And Prabhupada said, there's two things: you eat to live, or you live to eat. But he coined the phrase, "You eat to die." If you take prasadam, you can go back to Godhead.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to say anything? Unless you're waiting for prasadam.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.